Okay, so this is where I'm thinking that I want to go next. I think that there's plenty of open real estate left when I kind of moved the yarn around to start kind of exploring some of these pink hues that are happening in this color. Let me kind of show you. So I'm thinking that I want to start playing with where we can pull out some of these more rosy, it's not rosy, it's almost like peach undertones that are happening here right before you get to the real crisp purple edges of the petals. I want to see how can we play with this peachy pink kind of undertone that's happening over the top of that gold portion of the petal. I'd like to explore that. When I moved the yarn around, I felt like there was a lot of opportunity for me to work with like undertones on top of the gold while at the same time pulling like raw color through on the bare yarn. Let me start by showing you what I have left, or what my real estate, my dyeable real estate looks like right now on my yarn. Okay, so I flip-flop the yarn around, sorry, steam. Let's let some of that kind of evaporate away. So I flip-flop the yarn around a little bit, and you can see we still have really nice kind of golden portions of the yarn, and we also have some really lovely undyed real estate as well. This is kind of, I don't want to do too much in the white space just yet, but I do want to start pulling out, like I was saying, that kind of peachy pink that's happening on the this portion of the petals right here. There's kind of like this peachy color, this undertone. That's the best that I'm able to kind of describe it right now. You can kind of see it right here. I want to start pulling that out, and I want to leave that white space on the yarn for more crisp purple and kind of fuchsia that we see happening here. So that's where I want to go next, is just exploring this area, because this area kind of represents a lot of what's going on over here, but I want to just highlight this color variation going on here before we move on to any of the more kind of extreme color changes. There's a lot more yellow going on up here, almost a chartreusey look about it, browns down here, some maybe mochaccino colors, a little bit of red undertones, and then of course that green here. So first I want to just focus on this area right here. I'm happy with what I have so far. I added kind of a blush to the white space that I think would bring out a pink undertone in whatever else we add on top of that. Okay, so this is where we are right now. I took and I added some kind of peach to the white space that we have on the yarn right here, but I don't want to leave it like this. I feel like this is far too pink than what it is that I would like to achieve. And so what I'm going to do is warm it up with a little bit of a yellow over the top of this. It's going to create, not orange, I'm not going for an orange. It's going to just warm it up and create a little bit more of a russet value to this particular color. So I just kind of almost want to tint it a little bit. So I'm going to do that, and that's going to help us achieve that kind of peachy undertone that we were seeing in the petal. We have this beautiful golden color going on here, which is a lot like what you see in the photograph as well. And then this is just going to be toned down to achieve that more peach shadow that we see on the petals right before it bursts into that really bright violet purple. So let's go ahead and see how that works. Okay, so here we are. We've added a little bit of a yellow to kind of warm up that, well, it's already a warm color, but you know, to kind of give it a little bit more of a gold undertone to that peachy pink that we had on there. Okay, so here's our photo. This is the area right in here that we are working on right now. That's kind of what we're working on right here. And I know it's really hard to imagine bringing this up to this level right here, but bear with me because I have a plan and I'm pretty confident. So if we are just to kind of focus on that, what I would like to do now is to start bringing in this pink that we see right here as an accent. Kind of like, and when I say this in my head, what I say is I want to add an accent of whatever this is to the edges of the color that I have here. And I know that makes absolutely no sense because there's really no edges or anything here, but we don't want to completely cover what we have here with this accent color. We want to use it as almost like a shadow of what we already have here, just along the edges of the color. So bear with me, that's what I want to do next. I want to pick up this bright pink that we have happening here, put it down on top of this. And I know it seems also kind of unusual, well, why are we adding a bright pink back when we just, you know, muted or kind of warmed up a bright pink? I get that. But again, bear with me, I have a plan. So let's go ahead and add some accents of this pink that we see right here before we start thinking about how we're going to bring in that purple. Okay, let's go see how this looks after we've added that kind of highlight or low light or accent of additional pink that we want to bring out in those petals. So ultimately what I'm working towards is that bright purple that we see at the very end. It's actually a pretty deep purple that we see at the very end of the petal. And if we look at it here, this part right here is kind of where we want to go with what we have left here. So you can see that we're starting to see more of this area here in here. It's still very bright right here, but that's okay, because we also have to remember too, part of the way that I wanted to do this was not to try initially to achieve this kind of moody and gritty color, but to start with the vibrancy and then bring it down, tone it down by adding layers of either gray or black or however we're going to do that later on. Kind of like the stages of, you know, this particular photo. I mean, this rose initially was not this color, obviously, because it's in a state of decay. So we're kind of working in the same, I don't know, the same path, the same trajectory that this particular subject has followed. So that's, I don't know, that's a convoluted way to just tell you that we're going to start bright and tone down as we go to achieve the overall look that we see here. So right now, we're just working on this region here, here. You can definitely see that we're getting where we need to go. I want to start moving towards that bright pop of purple that we see right here and down along the edges of the petal here. And then after that, I want to, in the yarn, suggest the veining that we're seeing here. You can kind of see it. You can see it really well right here, the veins running through the petals. So I kind of would like to suggest those veins with maybe some speckles. So first, let's get to this purple section and then we'll work on that veining. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take a more deep purple color, more reminiscent of what's actually in the photograph, and I'm gonna add that, similar to the way that we did it with this pink that you see here. I'm gonna add it as an accent to the edges of the last color I applied. I think that might make more sense than the way I described it before. So we're just going to be adding it as an accent. We don't want to cover anything here completely. We just want to add it as an accent to add dimension, to add depth, and also to kind of play off of the colors that are already on the yarn. All right, let's go ahead and look at what we have after we added that additional purple accent, and this is really cool. Oh, I really like this. Okay, so the purple that we added this time is a much deeper purple than that pink that we had added before. So we have highlights, lowlights, and then we have that beautiful gold shining through below that. I'm really loving, I'm gonna kind of pull this over. I'm loving the way this looks. I'm loving the way that this suggests that purple edge to those petals of the rose. Really, really beautiful. I think that the only thing that I really want to do to this layer additionally is to suggest, like I was mentioning, those veins that are running through the petals. And I think a great way to do that would be with a good speckling over the top of this. So I'm gonna pick a good color, something maybe like a burgundy or some kind of a color like that that could bring out that dimension in those little veins that are running through the petals. Once I've done that, I think I'm gonna be ready to flip, and I'm super excited to see how this layer right here plays with what's underneath it, and also to kind of see what kind of undyed real estate we are left with after. And I'm not expecting much, which is okay, because a lot of the colors that are present in that photo are kind of accounted for, especially after we flip this over. You'll notice a lot of those colors have been created. I can see that I'm getting more bubbling going. I'm going to turn my temp down, and I'm going to add that speckling, and then we'll be ready to flip. Can we just talk about how beautiful this is for just a second, you guys? I am so excited about what we have going on here. I see a lot of possibility. I see just, I don't know, I'm really, really loving this. And I apologize, the steam, it's pretty intense. It's chilly in here, so that's why there's so much steam. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull that photo out again, just for comparison, what we're working with here. Okay, so this is the section that we're focusing on right here. And I'm loving this. This is so beautiful. You guys, look at this beautiful rich purple. That gold is coming through. We have a little bit of that peach. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely stunning. Loving it so far. Again, that's the section that we're working on. There's that bright purple. We're getting there, you guys. Super exciting. I think that it's time to go ahead and flip this. I'm really excited to see what's beneath all of this. It's been brewing for a little while now. You know, that dye exhaust in there, you can see that the water is clear underneath there. So I'm gonna go ahead, I mean, I'm already getting kind of an idea of what it's looking like, and it's got me going, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna flip it, and then we will figure out next steps after that.